Simon Cowell is famous for his tough judge persona and sharp confidence. But one hospital visit changed everything. His young son received a diagnosis no parent wants to hear, making fame and red carpets suddenly meaningless. Simon abruptly stepped away, leaving fans wondering why. Simon built his name on shows like The X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, always at the center of attention. His company, Psycho Productions, managed rising stars, and work dominated his life. But in 2013, things shifted when he began dating Lauren Silverman, who was married to his friend. Their affair became public, and Lauren soon announced she was pregnant with Simon's child. Their son, Eric Philip Cowell, was born in 2014, forcing Simon to rethink everything. Once a man who prioritized work and freedom, Simon embraced fatherhood fully, determined to raise Eric away from celebrity spoils. He scaled back his work to focus on family, valuing bedtime stories over ratings. As Eric grew, Simon noticed subtle differences in his behavior. These small signs stirred a deep concern in Simon, changing how he lived and parented. His love for Eric grew, but so did his awareness that his son was not like other children. As Eric's second birthday neared, Simon noticed something worrying. His son still hadn't started speaking. While other kids were forming words and sentences, Eric stayed mostly silent. Simon hoped it was just a delay, but deep down, he knew something wasn't quite right. Outings became overwhelming for Eric. Loud noises, bright lights, crowds. He'd cover his ears or look away. Simon thought it was just sensory overload, but it happened repeatedly, even in familiar places. Friends reassured him children develop differently, but Simon's instincts told him otherwise. A keen observer by nature, Simon couldn't ignore the signs. Nights were restless as he replayed everything, worrying about Eric's future. He began researching child development, seeking answers but finding more questions. Eric showed signs of deep intelligence, quick to notice details and understand more than he expressed. But he communicated differently, through small actions rather than words. Simon realized Eric was on a unique path. His concern wasn't disappointment, it was love. He wanted Eric to have the right support and space to thrive. Small wins, a glance, a gesture, meant everything. While most saw Simon as the blunt talent judge, his world had quietly shifted. He pulled away from the spotlight to focus on Eric's needs. One touching moment came on Britain's Got Talent, when Eric pressed the golden buzzer, a carefully planned event to keep him comfortable. Behind the scenes, Simon adapted everything, removing loud noises, limiting people to trusted faces. This wasn't just a softening, it was a profound change. He reshaped his work life to put Eric first. Though rumors and online chatter swirled, Simon kept his focus clear, his son's well-being. Eric didn't follow the usual path, and that was perfectly okay. Simon sought expert advice, booked appointments, and continued learning, all to give Eric the best chance at a happy life. Every meeting with specialists brought new ideas, some hopeful, some raising more questions. But Simon pressed on, determined not just to understand Eric's condition, but to learn how to support him best. Simon, a man who built careers by judging talent and pushing for perfection, found himself learning from his son a completely different perspective. The most meaningful moments were quiet and private, simple routines where Eric felt safe to be himself. As rumors swirled in the press, Simon remained silent, choosing to protect Eric until the right time. His focus stayed on helping his son feel seen and understood in a fast-paced world. Then came the family trip when Eric was 4. What was meant to be a relaxing vacation quickly turned difficult. The noisy resort overwhelmed Eric. New foods, disrupted routines, and unfamiliar sounds triggered intense reactions. One evening, surrounded by laughing families, Eric froze, covered his ears, and rocked in his chair. Simon tried everything but couldn't reach him. That moment forced a hard truth. They needed help. Simon and Lauren reached out to specialists who carefully observed Eric over months. Then, in December 2018, Simon received the diagnosis: autism spectrum disorder. Though not a shock, hearing it made everything real. Eric's brain worked differently, with unique strengths and challenges. He struggled with speech, sensory sensitivities, and needed consistent routines to feel secure. But Eric also had remarkable abilities: sharp pattern recognition, strong focus, and an impressive memory. The experts described his condition as moderate, meaning he would need support, but had potential to thrive with the right environment. The goal wasn't to change Eric, but to adapt the world around him to help him grow. And while the diagnosis was significant, the real challenge was just beginning. Simon faced a new challenge: how to share Eric's diagnosis with the world. Fame was part of his life, but Eric needed privacy above all else. Watching Eric carefully line up toy cars, Simon realized his son wasn't broken. He was just different, and that difference was beautiful. The diagnosis helped Simon understand why he'd already begun changing his life, avoiding loud events, overprotecting Eric without knowing why. Now he knew Eric needed speech therapy, occupational therapy, and behavioral support. Simon stepped into a new role: student, advocate, and protector. His life shifted dramatically. Fame, travel, and shows took a backseat to routine, structure, and careful planning. At home in Malibu, Simon transformed the environment, softening lights, reducing noise, and organizing every room to create a safe haven where Eric could thrive. Days were filled with therapy sessions, carefully planned social interactions, and deepening their unique bond. Communication wasn't through words, but through looks, actions, and small signs Simon learned to understand. Progress was slow but meaningful. A new word, a longer hug, a shared glance. Simon turned down work, trusted others with projects, and often felt the loneliness of keeping Eric's world private. The outside world couldn't fully grasp the pressure he carried. Watching Eric sleep at night, Simon felt the weight of responsibility. He wasn't sad about Eric being different, but worried about a world that might not always be kind. Protecting Eric became his mission, building a strong, supportive world for his son, even if the public didn't understand. By 2019, rumors about Eric's condition began to surface in gossip and entertainment news. What started as whispers soon grew louder, adding new challenges to Simon's already demanding journey. The rumors about Eric's development grew louder, and Simon saw strangers making assumptions without understanding. Some were well-meaning but misinformed, while others used harmful stereotypes about autism. Simon felt a fierce need to protect Eric, but struggled with whether to stay silent or speak out. After a tabloid published intrusive photos of Eric, Simon spoke out, sharing that Eric has autism and deserves respect. The support was strong, but public attention also brought pressure, with Eric's private moments scrutinized. Simon balanced protecting his son's privacy while raising awareness about autism. He let go of his old fatherhood dreams and adapted to a new life focused on Eric's needs, trading spontaneity for careful planning. Though the journey was tough, Simon embraced Eric's strengths and found a deeper, wordless bond. His story shows a different kind of fatherhood, one of love, patience, and reshaped dreams. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos, and don't forget to press the bell icon.